It's Friday, which means it's time to deploy. I'm joined by Matt and Jim, and we have a lot of stuff on today's show. We're going to be talking about the reality of GitOps application recreation. We're going to talk about a company called GoodRx that did some really cool work with CodeFresh. We're going to talk about some updates as well. But first, Matt, Jim, how was your week?
My week was great. It has been a really productive week, actually. Lots done. I'm looking forward to the weekend. It's my birthday tomorrow. So,
oh, hey.
Yeah.
How old are you turning? 22?
Yeah. Yes.
Let's go with that.
Yeah. Go with that. Yeah. My youngest daughter has gone and wrapped up some individual presents for me. So instead of, they're just little things. So instead of one present, she's done like 6. So yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. And Jim, how was your week?
Yeah, good. Just cheering through winter. Good fun stuff going on. We've been we're rolling out a bunch of architecture changes to our cloud platform and seeing how that's going to affect costs and scale of all the things we're in there. So lots of nuts and bolts work for me this week on our cloud platform. Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's is that more on the what is it again? The resilient deployments again? I can never remember the name.
Yeah, the resilient deployments. So that we're working on a way to make sure deployments can be more resilient. In the world of K8s and
yes.
hardware changing around and SaaS, things change. So deployments aren't builds; they need to survive events like that. You can't just restart the deployment if you're deploying to prod. For a customer or something like that. So
yeah, I'm getting a very hope is not a strategy type vibe from you right now with the resilient deployments. So there you go. Awesome. Right. All right, Matt, let's get into your latest blog post. So this is entitled "The Reality of GitOps Application Recreation." What is this all about?
This one came out a couple of days ago. It's another deep dive into one of the findings that came out in our State of GitOps report, actually. And the specific question that we asked, which is quite interesting, was, can you recreate the application from the configuration files stored in version control, for example, to recover from a disaster or to create a new test environment? So it's all about, when you think about GitOps and you've got your application, it's stored in Git, as we know, can you simply point that somewhere else and recreate your application? And the graph there is really interesting because we've got the GitOps groups in terms of maturity from pre-adoption at the bottom up to the highest maturity at the top. And what we noticed was that the answer of yes to that actually decreased with those first 3 groups before it significantly increased for those in the high maturity group. And I just unpacked some thoughts into that. First of all, around why you might want recreatable applications anyway. What's the real world value of actually having an application that you can recreate quickly and easily? And is that something that you actually want to move towards? And then sort of unpack the maturity journey of what that data showed us, which is probably when you get started with GitOps, or at least when I did, I grabbed a sample application, put it in Git, did the whole thing with ArgoCD, and I'm like, oh, look at that. I can recreate that anywhere. And then you start to think about the infrastructure that needs to support that and how you're building that with, are you doing it in Terraform or something like Crossplane? And then you think about the data and the database or other storage that's underlying, and suddenly it starts to get more complex than just redeploying your application by itself. So in this post, I just unpack that whole ecosystem around that and just thinking about your environments, your data, what it actually means to have a recreatable application, and is it something that you really want, and is there any value in it as well? So that was the thinking behind that post.
Gotcha. And I think you're up there in terms of word count. You're going to be giving Costas a run for his money soon with the amount of words you're putting in these blog posts here. So
and I'll tell you what, it starts a lot worse than that as well. I have to cut a lot, and I could probably still cut another half of it, to be honest. So I'm still connecting that.
It's that scene out of River Runs Through It where the father's like half as long, and so brevity is the soul of wit, as they say. So clearly you're not trying to make people laugh with this blog post, But there you go. The reality of GitOps application recreation. Great. So this is, speaking of Costas, this is a blog post that he wrote entitled GoodRx releases lifecycle solution for ephemeral developer environments with built-in support for CodeFresh pipelines. So GoodRx, excuse me, I was about to say GoodFX. GoodRx has open sourced its internal tool. It's called Lifecycle, and it's there to help streamline the creation of ephemeral environments. So you can find it here up on GitHub. This is what it looks like. And this was originally developed back in 2019 and basically allows you to create ephemeral environments. These are, of course, parts of any sort of development environment where you want to spin up a temporary environment to test out pull requests, etc. And so these can be all the services or a subset depending upon your needs. And then there's a service abstraction layer, service definition abstraction layer that you can define for microservices, etc. Of course, there's GitHub integration and all kinds of other things. And so what Costas did was kind of summarize how that all looks and talks a little bit about how it operates within the context of GitHub. Being Costas, of course, is going to provide a lot of diagrams, of course. But basically, this is something that is now available and you can certainly use in the context of CodeFresh pipeline support. So if you're utilizing CodeFresh, you want to utilize it within the context of CodeFresh pipelines, it has seamless integration now. So this is GoodRx's Lifecycle solution, which is available up on GitHub, which is awesome. Moving on to the create release action. This is a minor update that it was recently shipped. You can see it was actually about 2 weeks ago. We've added support for additional custom fields. So if you're utilizing create release action, you can simply just do a dependency update if you want. But you can see this was a update that was made available and has now been propagated to the latest release. So that's create release action amongst all the other actions that we have available up on GitHub, which is great. Earlier today, I hosted the Octopus 101. You'll find this up on our YouTube channel. It's the typical 101 thing that I do where I show basically how Octopus works. And then coming up next week, I don't know if you guys have registered, but we got Matt Casperson, who's going to be talking about Octopus AI Assistant and other things in a webinar entitled Deploy with Confidence, How AI helps teams move faster and fix smarter. So are you guys going to be there, or is it going to be too early for you?
I think it's at 5 a.m. So I will leave you to that, John, and I'll get the recording of it.
Jim, can I rely on you being there? Come on, man. I know you want to find out all the things.
You don't check the attendance list too hard. Yeah.
Sure. Do you have any questions? Just like, you get stuck sleeping on the keyboard and all the Z's go across. So there you go. But yeah, if you want to sign up for this, Matt's going to be joining me, and we're going to be showcasing all the new stuff around Octopus AI Assistant, which we've talked about here. And this is going to be essentially the alpha sort of public announcement of the alpha that we have available, which is up on the Chrome Web Store. We're doing a bunch of stuff around that, so stay tuned. But Matt and I are writing a lot of docs right now, so we're trying to get prepared for that. Moving on, we have some events coming up. We have KCD in San Francisco in September. So if you happen to be there, check us out. We're also at the Enterprise Tech Leadership Summit that is going to be in Las Vegas. That's September 23rd and 25th. Of course, we got GitHub Universe. I think it's going to be like our 4th year in a row we're going to this thing. So it's in San Francisco, which will be there. And then a new event, which we've just recently propagated up, is AWS reInvent. We have not been here for a number of years. We took a bit of a hiatus there for a number of reasons. Then COVID happened, etc. But we are going back. We are going to be back, baby, at AWS reInvent. We're really looking forward. This was always one of our favorite events that we went to historically, and so we'll be there. This will be occurring obviously in Las Vegas. This is Amazon's big event. It's a massive event, and we're really looking forward to it. So there you go. You can check this out at octopus.com/events. And speaking of events, we also have an upcoming event here for ArgoCD and GitOps QuickSync Real World Solutions. This is in Tel Aviv. So if you happen to be in Tel Aviv, you got nothing going on Monday, July 14th. Feel free to, this is after the weekend, of course, feel free to hang out with us. We'll be at CodeFresh, obviously hosting this event, and you'll be able to hear all about ArgoCD and GitOps, which is great. And Matt, you recently posted a video entitled Deployment Freezes in Octopus Deploy. Tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, for sure. So this is kicking off a new series of YouTube videos that I'm putting out in a specific playlist. So if you'd like to follow along, you can go and grab the playlist and subscribe or keep an eye on that. This video here specifically is around deployment freezes in Octopus Deploy. So there are a number of reasons why you may want to have windows where you don't want deployments to happen for specific projects in your Octopus Deploy instance. And I just talk through why you might want to do that and how easy it is to do in Octopus Deploy, both at the project level and for our enterprise customers, they can do that more globally at the space level and apply that across different projects as well. So instead of the old way of, throwing out a Slack message and saying, please don't deploy in this time because, we're showing off a demo or need to use that environment, you can actually help deployments here with the freezers really nicely, and they just continue through after that window has finished as well. So that's what that video is about. The whole series, the aim of the whole series is just to surface some exciting features of Octopus Deploy, and selfishly, it gets me into some corners of the product that I haven't gotten into yet as well. So all of these are targeted to be under 5 minutes. They'll get to the value super quick and show you sort of what the functionality looks like without having to take up too much of your time. So that's the goal of the video series of exploring Octopus Deploy.
Fantastic. So yeah, looking forward to other videos coming from Matt on that side. So you'll check it out up on our YouTube channel, which is at /Octopus Deploy, which is great. And now, as you guys know, it's our favorite time. It's time for Support on Friday. The Support on Friday is our new segment where we take a question from the advice channel up on our community Slack, and we take a chance to answer it here. So this is a question. It says, "Hi, is there a way to get a list of unused life cycles?" And so I guess the question here is like, look, I don't want these things hanging around, or maybe there's some unused life cycles I'm not using. Mark Harrison came in and said, "There's a script where you can find life cycles with no projects from here." So if we jump over to that script, you can see inside of PowerShell here, we're just writing a curl command essentially over to an endpoint, which will get us a list of life cycles. We then iterate through that list of life cycles, checking to see if there are any without projects, et cetera, et cetera. And if there are any listed there, we can go ahead and clean them up if we so wish. Of course, we can use a tool like Octolint, for example, to check some of these things. Or we can use, and this is where we kind of jump over to the demo, we can use a tool like Octopus AI Assistant. So here's a question where we pose, this is what you're going to see in the webinar next week, by the way, so feel free to sign up. So we posed a question like, I created a couple of life cycles here. Let me just show this in context. So I created a couple of life cycles here, one called life cycles empty, life cycles also unused, etc. And then I jumped over to the root here, which is a project. I said, give me a list of life cycles with no associated projects. And it says there are 2 life cycles with no associated projects, these 2 here. And then it goes on to say both of these life cycles are defined, but not referenced by any project. So that gives you a little bit of a clue into some of the things we'll be talking about in the future. Upcoming, soon to be talked about webinar featuring Matt Casperson, who's talking about the Octopus AI Assistant. Pretty cool. That's a teaser. I like that, eh? We'll end on that. What do you think?
Played. Yeah.
I like it. Cool. All right. Well, that about wraps it up for all of us here. Another week has gone by for us here at Octopus Deploy. If you happen to stumble upon this, feel free to give us a like and subscribe. Like if you like the video, subscribe if you really like the video, as they say. But until next time, we will see you on the next episode of Deploy on Friday next week. From all of us to you, happy deployments, everyone. Take care.